Hello, I'm Alejandro Pujalte, a second year student of primary education, and I'm going to introduce my work of artistic creation and research workshop. First of all, my work is going to be divided into 5 parts, that are the general introduction, my previous inspirations, 2 pieces of art, and a final reflection. To begin with, I will explain what this work consists of. In short, this work will consist of making 2 pieces of art, using different techniques that are divided in modern and classical ones, and also choosing some topics that the work will be about, like for example otherness, stereotype, or uncertainty. The 2 topics that caught more my attention were uncertainty and stereotypes. For the first piece, I chose uncertainty, and I approached the topic of death, because it is a subject that causes many doubts. To represent it, I looked for some metaphors, and finally, I chose the light at the end of the tunnel. For the second piece, I chose the topic of stereotypes. After searching for information, I chose the topic of gender stereotypes, as it is a situation that still happens sometimes, and people should be made aware of it in order to change it. Regarding the first piece, I'm going to explain the creative process I made. First, during the phase of preparation, the first thing I did was to think about which topic I should choose. After much analysis, I chose the topic of uncertainty, which seemed more interesting to me because of my personality. Once I had chosen the topic, I started to think about different ideas that were related to this topic. To do this, apart from thinking for myself, I asked other people what problems or situations caused them uncertainty. A repeated topic was what happens after death, which I found very interesting. During the phase of incubation, once I had the main idea, I started to think about how I could represent it. After many ideas, I remembered an expression that is often used to refer to this topic, which is seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. In this way, I got an idea of how I was going to make my piece of art. The last phase was illumination. Once I had my idea, I wanted to represent it with dark colors, mainly black, because many people are afraid of darkness, as it represents the unknown, what cannot be seen. I thought that the main idea of the painting would have to be a person surrounded by immense darkness, going into the tunnel, which is very bright. As I had to use classical techniques, I thought that using charcoals and acrylic paint for painting dark colors would be a good option to represent my idea. Regarding the second piece, I'm going to explain the creative process I made. First, for the phase of preparation, the first thing I did was thinking about the topic I should choose. As I mentioned before, I found the stereotypes interesting. Therefore, I looked for information about the stereotypes, since at first I did not fully understand their meaning. After searching, I finally chose the gender stereotype, which I think is a situation that is currently inappropriate, but unfortunately, it still continues to happen. The second phase, called incubation, once I had the main idea, I started to think about how I could represent it. After thinking, I asked my father and his partner to act as models, although at first they were not very happy with this choice. Sometimes there can be inequality in domestic activities, so I thought about how I could represent this situation. In the last phase, called illumination, once I had my idea, I thought about taking a static photo in which my father was lying on a sofa while his partner was cleaning the table. This represents a situation where the woman is performing a household task, such as cleaning, while the man is passive, relaxed, and entertaining himself by watching television. These types of representations reinforce traditional and limited gender roles, where women are expected to be in charge of domestic work and men are passive or do not participate in this task. Once the creative process was finished, I started with elaboration. For this elaboration, we recreated a scene in which a woman is cleaning a table while the man is lying on the couch. I had some problems with the camera angle, so I took photos from different perspectives until I liked the result. Another problem is that the actors didn't want to show their faces out of embarrassment, so I had to pixelate them. Also, the light in the place was very dim, so I had to edit the photo to give it more brightness and color. This process was not complicated and was quite fun to do. What was most difficult was thinking about the idea of the topic. Lastly, I'm going to explain my final reflection. I consider that this entire process is important, not only to develop creativity, but also to encourage critical thinking about different topics. Although I already liked art, this job has made me open to new techniques that I previously considered as boring. In addition, throughout the process, I have done work that can be useful and fun for primary school students and can encourage their creativity and their way of coming up with ideas.